The Fed's pumped $4 trillion into the economy, and yet the velocity of money has fallen off a cliff. I got 3 implications coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Cohern Financial Group. Welcome to the Wise Money channel. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, so this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. The velocity of money is basically how smooth the economy is functioning. By definition, how quickly is $1 being spent in the economy? The analogy that I use is, say you owned a restaurant and you've got tables and whatever, and so at one table, how many different customers can you get at that table during a night, right? If someone comes in at 5, can you flip that table and have that customer, everyone's happy and everything? You have them out by 6, have a new family there at 6:15, have them out by 7:15, get a new family in there at 8:30, get them out at another family around 9:45, and then you're done. Can you flip that table 4 times that night? And that's the velocity of money. Or do you have someone, you welcome them in at 5 o'clock, and they're drinking water until 7:30, and then they order an appetizer, and then they order a drink, and then they leave, and you can't put another family at that table that night. So that's obviously low. That's bad for your restaurant business. If you only have one family at that table all night long, it's really good if you can get 4 or 5 people, 5 families at that table throughout the night. So that's velocity of money. How quickly is the same dollar being spent in the economy? And guys, we have a problem. We have a problem, and that actually doesn't do it justice. Let me show you this chart of the velocity of money. Notice how we have seen an increase leading up to, let's say, the tech bubble, 97, maybe 2000, and then it's been falling steadily and then completely off a cliff to all-time lows this year. I want to point something out. Typically, the velocity of money slows during those shaded periods, a recession. Of course, people don't spend money as quickly during a recession, so of course you'd expect it to slow. But notice how that slowing pace accelerated during the last couple recessions, most notably this one. When we've gotten huge injections of cash from the Fed, when they've increased their balance sheet and printed a bunch of money, the velocity of money has actually slowed. Check out this chart here. When you look at the money supply, which in part is controlled by the Federal Reserve, how much money they're printing, how much money they're allowing to circulate, and then you compare that to how quickly money's actually circulating, look at how those spread. Look at how, though, it's like oil and water. The more money we're throwing into the system, the less quickly it is being spent. This is concerning to me, and I'm not the only one. Lots of financial professionals are pointing to this saying, what is this going to mean? What does this mean? And I'll be honest, we haven't seen this. I mean, looking at the chart, you can tell this is the lowest velocity of money has ever been, and obviously we've never printed this much money. We've never had this much money in circulation. So what could this mean? I've got 3 implications, and they're not good. Number 1, the Fed came out recently, a couple weeks ago, and said, we want inflation. We want inflation. And I did a video a couple days ago about, well, I think they want inflation because they actually want interest rates to go up, because the next time the economy gets a cold, they don't want to have to print money and do all these extraordinary measures. They want to be using the interest rate level to influence the economy. So they want inflation. They want a reason to increase interest rates. Guys, if money's not flowing around the economy, we're not going to see inflation. We're not. And I hope I'm wrong. And with $4 trillion being thrown in our laps, I mean, we've got to have inflation, right? Except when you look at this velocity of money. If the velocity of money stays low, it's likely we won't get inflation. That's the first implication. The second implication, if we don't get inflation, we likely don't get higher interest rates. Now, our government, we are running a deficit, and guys, I don't know if we'll ever balance a budget again. And there's a lot of people out there that say, we shouldn't, we don't even need to. I don't know. I'm more cautious, and I just would assume that that we should want to try to balance our budget, but I might be wrong. So we are borrowing as a country more money than ever with no end in sight, and the higher interest rates go, the more expensive it will be for our country to borrow money. I get that. So there are dangers there. But the Fed, next time the economy catches a cold, they're gonna need to say, well, what can we do to try to stimulate things, even if it's just improve the overall psyche or confidence of the consumer and businesses. And if interest rates stay low, they're not going to have a lot of tools. So the second impact or second implication of low velocity of money is no inflation, and therefore probably really low interest rates for a long period of time. That hurts you savers out there, probably does help the stock market, but it hurts you savers out there, and it leads to the third implication, which that means the Fed might not have the interest rate manipulation as its first line of defense against future economic storms. And if that's the case, if low interest rates to the floor means, well, stocks should do fine because there's no place else to put money, that likely could mean the stock market gets to bubble territory. And what happens with bubbles? They tend to burst. And if they do, if it does, when it does, what options will the Fed have to help stimulate the economy? If they can't lower interest rates because inflation's been low and therefore interest rates have been low, if they can't lower interest rates, what else can they do? Well, I believe Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, and he says he's got all types of tools. I know really creative ones, sort of like Hail Mary last-ditch efforts. If that's all we've got, I fear we could be entering into this pattern of bubble and burst. The economy is not functioning normally. It's just not, and you can see that here in these charts. So what does this mean for you? Don't go make decisions in your financial life that violate long-standing principles. Have a principle-based approach to your finances. You've got to be working with a certified financial planner. They're not going to go out there and say, all right, now time to gamble and put everything on red. No, they're going to say, pay down debt, have a budget, make sure you've got a fully funded emergency fund, make sure you're saving 15% of your income towards retirement and rainy day fund, make sure you've got life insurance in place, make sure you've got an estate plan. They're going to tell you all the principled approaches to take. Will it be boring? It might be. I mean, part of their job is to come up with creative ideas to help you get where you're trying to go, but some of it could just be a little boring, but it might bore you when things are going crazy like they are right now, but it might be there to protect you if we do see the bottom fall out of this thing. So work with your CFP, have a principled approach to your overall finances, and then second, brace yourself for some uncertainty in the markets. I mean, if the economy is not flowing the way that it's supposed to, as evidenced by this velocity of money, we could see some very peculiar things coming up in the economy. So just brace yourself. Brace yourself, all right? Work with your CFP. If you don't have a CFP, you can always contact a member of our team at Korhorn Financial Group. Find us online, korhorn.com, that's Korhorn with a K, or just give us a call, 574-247-5898. We'd love to help. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.